New short story. The Bride. She was the girl who never smiled. Shakti Narayan Rajan, or the Engineer Saab as everyone called him, noticed that the first day he moved in as a tenant in her aunt's house, her features were pleasing enough. Big coal-rimmed eyes that had met his questioningly and then moved away with reserve. Her long black hair was always in a tightly oiled braid, but some tendrils always escaped their confinement to frame her oval face. She wasn't fair, which all beautiful women ought to be, if they were desirous of a quick marriage with a minimum dowry. The only adornment on her placid features was a red bindi and two small golden jhumkas. Shakti had been fascinated by her at first glance, not that his mother would ever approve the match. A well-educated, handsome and fair groom like him would fetch at least one Maruti Suzuki car and, if lucky, a microwave. His mother had started planning his wedding the moment he had graduated. As a good Indian son, he wouldn't dream of disappointing his mother. But he couldn't help but notice the girl. She lived downstairs in his landlady's house. The landlady, a heavy-set woman in a Kanjivaram sari, was nice to him, but he had often seen her berating the girl. She was called a manhus and abhagin, all words never uttered in polite company, cementing her position as the most ill-treated member in the landlady's household. Every morning at 8, the girl would knock softly on his door and come in, placing a tray of hot tea with breakfast on the center table. He would be present during those times, smiling at her, attempting to start a conversation. She looked at him wordlessly, placed the tray, and never smiled. One day, as she came with the tray, Shakti opened the newspaper and started reading the news aloud. 16 people died in a train crash. Then he looked at her directly. Sad, isn't it? She nodded reluctantly and left him alone. He continued this practice daily. 5 children missing after flood sweeps through their village. She would nod, open her mouth as if to say something, and then leave him alone. It was on the 7th day when he said, "Couple murdered in their beds, murderer at large," that he finally got a response from her. "Are you always this morbid?" Her voice was soft and slightly husky, as if she was using it for the first time. His heart jolted. "No, I'm generally a very happy person. I'm Shakti, by the way." He bowed his head in namaste. She returned the gesture, but didn't say much. Desperate to draw her out more, he said, "What's your good name?" She looked at him steadily and said, "Radha." Before he could stop her, she just said, "The tea will get cold," and left him. Every day for a month, Shakti tried her best to draw her out. He encouraged her to read from the newspaper with him. She obliged him, but never smiled. "Why do you look so sad?" Shakti couldn't stop himself from asking. She looked at him through her large coal-rimmed eyes. She was perched on the edge of a chair like a baby deer about to flee. I should go." She stood up. "Radha." He used her name for the first time. She looked as shocked as he felt. "I don't like that your auntie is so mean to you. Why don't you say anything?" She was quiet for so long, Shakti thought. She wouldn't answer, but she did. "I just lost my entire family. My parents were murdered with my younger brother. I had stepped out to use the fields for my daily ablutions. Dacoits got into our house and hacked my family to death." Tears sprang into her eyes as she looked up at him. I'd forgotten to close the door," She broke down sobbing and Shakti rushed to collect her in his arms. She was small, her back arched as sobs racked her slender body. "Ah, Auntie blames me, and she should." "That's ridiculous. That's an honest mistake. I'll speak to your auntie." "Oh, don't please, Shakti." She said his name for the first time as her slender fingers covered her mouth. "She's the only family I have left. She's looking for a match for me. The minute I'll get married, I will be moving out anyway." Whatever hope that had blossomed in Shakti's heart when he had held her in his arms crumpled away to nothingness. "Oh, has your marriage been fixed?" "No. No one wants to marry someone so unlucky." Her lip curled as she looked to the floor, dejected. "I'll marry you." The words came out of his mouth before he could stop them. She was the wrong caste, wrong color, and definitely not someone who could gift his mother a Maruti Suzuki or a microwave oven. But he smiled. For the first time in so long, it seemed right. He smiled at her, but Radha just looked shocked. "Are you joking?" "No, not at all. In fact, I'll speak to your auntie right away. We will get married at the first available muhurat. The only problem is that my mother won't agree, but there isn't much she could after the wedding, is there?" Radha was looking at him with shock. "You have gone quite mad." Shakti grinned. "Is that a yes?" Radha was staring at him dumbstruck. Are you sure?" He brought her fingers to his lips. "As sure as I have been of anything in my life." Radha looked away confused, so he put a hand under her chin and lifted her face to his. "And I promise the first thing I will do as your husband is make you smile. In fact, I will make sure you laugh." The wedding was a smooth affair. Radha looked resplendent in a red sari with red bangles and sindoor. In the hair parted neatly on her head, she was beautiful, and Shakti was madly in love with her. She didn't smile, but her eyes conveyed her gratitude. It was surprisingly easy to convince her auntie to give Radha's hand in marriage. When she had heard about their decision to get married, she had simply wiped her pan-stained mouth on the edge of her sari. "I can't give anything as dowry. I have my own children to worry about." No wonder that Radha never smiled. After assuring her auntie that he didn't need a dowry, she had speedily agreed to the match. They were wed within a fortnight. Shakti wrote a letter to his mother, begging her forgiveness for marrying against her wishes and asking her to visit him and his bride. His bride! Happiness shining in his eyes, he looked at her, staring down at her henna-covered hands, deep in contemplation. His bride was a serious one. It was his job to make her smile and laugh, and he would do it till his dying breath. The Indian custom of Suhagrat would follow, and he was greatly looking forward to them sharing a bed for the first time. Their bed would be decorated with flowers, and he would adorn his bride with them. After hours of celebration, he finally trudged wearily to his room. The staircase which led to his rooms upstairs was scruffy and old, but his heart beat in anticipation. His bride would be waiting for him on the bridal bed, adorned with jewelry and draped with the wedding sari. He knocked softly on the wooden door and pushed it open when his bride said, "Come in." She was there, right in the middle of their bed, in the exact position he had imagined, sitting demurely covered in the red gold sari. He approached the bed. Her face was covered in the red gold palo. He moved to her and pulled the palu off her face. What he saw there made him take a step back. His beautiful bride was grinning at him, face contorted hideously. "Welcome, my husband." She threw the palu off her face. He took another step back. "Ah, are you all right?" "Never better. You have released me. Now I will be happy again." Showing surprising agility, she jumped off the bed. Her makeup had run, the kohl lining her eyes giving them a ghoulish look. The sindoor in her hair looked like blood, trailing down the side of her face. His heart beat even harder now, but it wasn't due to anticipation. I don't come any closer," he shouted. She tilted her head and looked at him, menace underlying her gaze. "I'm so happy today." Then he saw it. The flash of the long blade she held in her arms behind her. "It was you, not Dacoits," he said needlessly and to no one in particular. His mouth was dry and his feet were leaden. He was so shocked he only whimpered in astonishment as she jumped on top of him. She hacked him on the chest with the sword. Pain fired through his chest and the world tilted. He was suddenly on the ground, his crazy bride on top of him. Gleefully, she went on hacking his body. He ineffectually raised his arms and saw they were covered in his blood as it spurted out of his chest. He was too numb to feel the pain, and his eyes slid shut. The only thing he heard with his last breath was her maniacal laughter,